And I didn't sleep so well last night. I got up early and I had to take a nap. I was not easy aging. It's not. I continue to think I'm still 35 years old. I'm not.
Oh, shit.
Aging's no fun.
My recommendation is if you're still young, I say that you take a lot of photos of yourself naked in bathing suits, frolic, have great sex, and, call it a day. My recommendation.
Not a bad recommendation.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I've done all those things, actually. So this is my new favorite thing. I want to show it to you. Somebody named Mr. Reagan USA tweeted this out. I don't know. I think he made it. So let's watch. This is an AI version of a meeting between Trump and Zelensky, and I hope you enjoy it.
How the Trump-Zelensky meeting should have gone.
Mr. Reagan.
That was yours. We thought that baggie belonged to Hunter. I think the Secret Service probably still has it somewhere.
I have been stealing the money.
I'm sorry. What's
okay, hold on. There's a lot of shit happening in the room. Everybody needs to pay attention. Okay, here we go. Ready?
How the Trump-Zelensky meeting should have gone.
Mr. Reagan.
That was yours. We thought that baggie belonged to Hunter. I think the Secret Service probably still has it somewhere.
I have been stealing the money.
I'm sorry, what's that now?
I must to speak honestly. I steal many of USA dollars to Ukraine. Millions. Some dollars for some oligarchs also. Some for American bureaucrats also.
Well, we know that, but why are you telling me this?
Because, Mr. Trump, if you end war, we cannot steal any more money. We must continue war.
No, the war must end. Your people are dying, Zelensky. They're dying.
But I want to steal more money. What do you want? Fellatio? I can do it.
No, I don't want fellatio. No.
Are you sure? I did for Biden.
Okay, that is what we call oversharing. Look, there's nothing you have that I want. You're not going to convince me to keep this war going. You don't have the cards.
I not play cards.
No, I know you're not literally playing cards. It's a metaphor. It's like I'm playing 4D chess and you're playing checkers.
No, I not play checkers. There is no checkerboard, you see.
Okay, let's try this. I am in the driver's seat, okay? Do you understand that expression?
No, but we are not in car.
No, you're right. We're not in a car. That's true.
Listen, Mr. Trump, I am actor/comedian. I crave attention. Since start of war, I get worshipped by presidents. I'm worshipped by Hollywood. If war ends, no more attention, no more worship. With all due respect, Mr. Trump, this war must last forever.
I tell you what, if you agree to end this war, we will do a remake of Friends. And you can play Ukrainian Chandler Bing. How does that sound?
Oh, I love the Friends. This is favorite show of me. I am such a Monica.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's sign the thing, and then I'll go show you the room where Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky did it.
Oh, yes, this is funny because I just say I'm such a Monica. Maybe we will go in a room and you can be Bill Clinton and I will be Monica. Yes?
You know what? Forget the room. Let's just sign the document. Does anyone have a pen? Phil? Where's Phil? I need a pen. Somebody give me a damn pen.
Mr. Reagan.
That was very funny. That was well done. I thought that was hilarious. That was very well done. How do they do that?
The whole time I'm wondering that.
How does this? It's all the AI voice thing. How do they do that? You know how do they do it?
And it looks so in sync. I don't get it.
You're a millennial, right? You're supposed to know how to do that stuff. That's what the kids are doing. Really? What about Lance? He's artistic. Do you think he? Andrew, how about my Andrew? Andrew should know how to do this. Andrew and Chris should know. They're the what is it? They're the computer type, I guess. I'm not nerd. Nerd.
Could they be
techie? They're techie. How about that? That's it. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, well, that's funny. We should do stuff like that. We should do stuff like that.
Jimmy Dore.
Savage, thank you, Savage. Much appreciated. You're back, Savage. Bet you lots of really famous people, including two people whose first name rhymes with Hill and one whose last name I hate to say, are on the Epstein list. Savage. Savage comes back. Fauci and company brought you the clot shot, the state injectable, the Fauci ouchie, using your taxpayer money, and a witness came forward to the U.S. Senate that Fauci also knew about the tortured beagles. Yeah, you know, it's interesting when you see those beagles that the rage that you have seeing that this, like, these little innocent lives are just being destroyed for science. It really is very disconcerting, and that's how we feel about beagles, much less seeing the suffering of people. Savage, thank you for that. Depressing. Okay, Santa Monica Film Festival. Thank you for that. Let me repost the clip about the film on the 15th. There, did it again. Doing it. Well, you're seeing this live, ladies and gentlemen. Why won't that help me? Why won't that? There we go. All right, there. Done. Okay. Next, Savage, FDA, Fauci, destroyed America. That's FDA. Hey, Jake says, look up Patrice O'Neal's take on Opie and Anthony about how they flushed Osama bin Laden down the ocean like he was cocaine from Goodfellas. Patrice O'Neal was red-pilled even back in 2011. Thank you for that one. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Jimmy, this is from my_war. Recently, there was a commercial for what appears to be a shot at Big Pharma on YouTube. The lead actor looks a lot like Jimmy. Coincidence? I don't know. I wish I could find that link to that commercial. Wonder where that is. Okay, let's go over here. See if I can find some more. Are you ready, Mr. Jim, or you need a moment? Jokes.
Not for this one. But
all right. Thank you, Jimmy Dore Show. Thank you, Santa Monica Film Festival. All right,
okay.
Back to Jimmy.
So we all saw what happened with J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, and Zelensky in the White House. It's amazing the different reactions. So the brainwashed and the brain dead think that somehow Zelensky's some kind of victim instead of what he is, which is a criminal who's skimming money and wants to prolong a war. But he's also, in his defense, he's being pressured by lots of different types of people to keep that war going. Some of the most powerful people in the world and some of the biggest killers in the world. So, but Matt Gaetz went on a scorched earth campaign on Twitter, tweet after tweet after tweet, going after Zelensky. It started off with this: Zelensky is a grifter. Look at that, 44,000 likes on that, 1.3 million views, and you could tell I liked it. And that's what kind of started it off. Zelensky's a grifter. He went on to tweet out a video of, now this is a congresswoman from Indiana who's also Ukrainian, and he tweeted this out. Let's listen to it.
If you could give advice to President Trump right now about this minerals deal that is floating around, his desire that mirrors your and mine to end the war, what advice would you give President Trump?
You know, to be as tough as you can with them. You know, when I came to Ukraine, I understand who these people are. Actually, Zelensky and I are the same age. He was born in 1978. So we both grew up in the tough, wild 90s. And you see what's happened when socialism fall apart. You have criminal activity. I mean, this was pretty bad. And he grew up in very criminal areas. So I understand who these people are. And I was very tough on them. And I said, you know what? You can do whatever you want with your money and weapons, but with our money and weapons, we'll tell you what to do. And if you don't like it, you can go to hell. And I probably said even tougher word.
Whoa. So that's someone with a very thick Ukrainian accent telling him to go to hell. So he tweeted that out, and then he retweeted this tweet. There it is. So he retweeted it out. There it is. Also, this Representative Steve Womack tweeted this out. So there's Zelensky. And he said, President Zelensky movingly spoke of Ukrainians fighting for their lives and against Putin's evil. We've seen the atrocities. There must be consequences. America and the entire global community must stand with Ukraine and provide them with what is needed to defend freedom and their nation. Now, that's just someone, I'll tell you right, that's just someone who doesn't care about how many Ukrainians get slaughtered. Because the war should have, the longer this war goes on, the worse it is for Ukraine. And if they end it today, this is the best time. The best time for them to end it was yesterday. The second best time is today. The worst time is tomorrow, because Russia is just going to take more land, and there's going to be more Ukrainians slaughtered. So Matt Gaetz retweeted it out and said, another member of the Zelensky wing of the Republican Party. So he's going right at Representative Steve Womack. So that was from March 16th. Of 2022. So he's going back and he's exposing all the people who were a part of the lie that is the Ukraine war. Now, again, I still live in Hollywood, and most of my friends in Hollywood believe what they see on TV. They believe everything that the government says and what the news says about the Ukraine war. They believe what they say about the Syrian war, the Libyan war, the Afghanistan war. They don't believe them about Iraq anymore, but they did. So it's kind of so that's what he's picking out. He was picking out old tweets, retweeting them, and giving comments on it. So that's Matt Gaetz going scorched earth on Womack. And then here is one from Michael McCall from 2022. It was an honor to meet the First Lady of Ukraine and her inspiring words. And hear her inspiring words as we approach the 6-month mark of Putin's war in Ukraine. We cannot forget our humanity, and we must continue to stand with Ukraine. Now, these people know the true story, that this war was provoked by NATO, the United States, Biden administration, the neocons, and the war machine. And he retweets this. Again, this is all yesterday. Trump's dog-walking Zelensky exposed Zelensky, sure. He's talking about their meeting at the White House. But it also exposed the failed foreign policy of the neocons who would send endless amounts of your money overseas, like this Republican Congressman, Michael McCall. He's not messing around. This is one from April 23rd, 2024. Republicans for Ukraine, Senator Chuck Grassley. I don't buy this notion that it is conservative or Republican position to abandon the American leadership that has kept the peace. I make no apologies for supporting Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan in the face of threats from the axis of anti-American dictatorship. He retweeted that yesterday and said, I'd probably apologize for the Ukraine part. I think he should apologize for all of it. That's where I'm at. But I'll take it. I'll join with Matt Gaetz where we agree. And there it is. You agree on the Ukraine part. So that's nice. Look at that. So he's going scorched earth on all of them. Here he is again, 23 hours ago. Before Trump and J.D. Vance did their brilliance with Zelensky in the Oval Office, this was the nonsense foreign policy doctrine that governed D.C. Republicans, as articulated by, there it is again, Representative McCall. And he tweets out a 1:38 video, which I'm not going to bother to play, because the point of this is to show how Matt Gaetz is going scorched earth on the neocon Republicans who have been duping the American people into sending hundreds of billions of dollars to another pointless war that is an economic war. Okay, just so you know. Here he is. And then he retweeted this video from when he was on in December of 2022 when Tucker Carlson had his show still on Fox News. Before they fired him for telling the truth about the Ukraine war, he thanked him. So yesterday he tweeted this out. McConnell and Pelosi brought Zelensky to Congress to provide air cover for an indefensible spending bill. Ukraine gets economic development, agriculture, and border patrol. We get racial equity mandates for us here at home. I'm not sorry, Lauren Boebert, and I won't stand for it. So he tweeted that out. Thank you, Tucker. So yesterday, he said, thank you, Tucker Carlson, for allowing me to make these points about Zelensky in 2022. Got white as teeth look there. Very white. So this is funny. Hillary Clinton tweeted this out. Wouldn't want to hurt Putin's feelings. And it's a picture of Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary. Trump's defense secretary, Hegseth, orders Cyber Command to stand down. with Russia, right? So they're making peace overtures. Hillary Clinton, who's a blood-soaked psychopathic warmonger, she tweets that out and says, wouldn't want to hurt Putin's feelings. So she still wants to play this McCarthyism, this ramping up of tensions. She doesn't want peace. She never did. She's a warmonger. She's the worst kind of warmonger. And then Pete Hegseth responds with this, and it's pretty nicely. So who that is? That's Lavrov. That's the Russian foreign minister, and there they are pressing a button. It's called the Great Reset. Remember they're doing the Great Reset when she was Secretary of State? Well, we're going to be buddies with Russia again until we need to make them be our enemy again so we can sell more weapons and do more war. So that was a pretty good burn, and Matt Gaetz reposted, Crooked Hillary just got owned. Matt Gaetz retweeted that. So his whole timeline is just filled with this kind of stuff about Ukraine. Here's one more. This guy, Derek Van Orden, he said, I'm a member of Congress and a former Navy SEAL and the longest serving enlisted member of the United States military to ever be elected to Congress in history of my country. I have served in uniform in combat in multiple areas of conflict. I must be frank with you, Mr. President. How you treated my president, real Donald Trump, he's talking to Zelensky, and my vice president by trying to talk over them and show disrespect in our Oval Office was reprehensible. I will not be voting for an effing nickel in military aid for you until you get your mind right. This can be in public or in private, but I will remind you that the slim majority in our House of Representatives, I can stop any initiative, including the money coming to you. We want peace in Europe, but in no way, shape, or form will America ever be your bitch. Feel free to contact my office if you'd like support. So he's still offering his support. He just wants Zelensky to be, so he's trying to play both sides. That's what he's doing. And Matt Gaetz catches it. And he says, Van Orden has been a reliable Zelensky simp up until this point. Matt, he's going after Navy SEALs. He's going after congressmen, senators. He's not messing around. Here's one more. So do you see this? Keir Starmer, that's the Prime Minister of the UK. Is it the UK or England? I don't even know. Action, not just words. Britain stands with Ukraine today and always. So I think it would be the Prime Minister of Britain.
UK.
UK? Oh, look at that. I get schooled on my own show. And he tweets out. So there they are. There's Keir Starmer embracing Zelensky, and he says, you can have him. Here's one more. He retweeted this. Representative Victoria Spartz has joined Matt Gaetz' show on Friday to discuss Zelensky's disrespectful behavior in the Oval Office. He failed to defend his country, being so insulting to the American people after how much was done by us for Ukraine and for Europe. I can't believe this. So he retweeted that out. That was on March 1st. He retweeted that. And then Mark Levin, the great Mark Levin, he tweeted out Zelensky, great leader. He tweeted out, I think we can all agree the great one nailed this take. Now, to be clear, I've consistently been against the U.S. involvement in this war. So I'm a little confused. I think he's making fun of him, Mark Levin. Is he being sarcastic here? Because Mark Levin was always for the Ukraine war, as far as I can tell. Mark, you used to berate House conservatives for opposing funding to Ukraine. When did you change your mind? Or have you? So he's going after talk show hosts, popular conservative talk show hosts. There's nothing conservative about supporting the Ukraine war. It's just neocon, warmongering. So he went after him, went after senators, went after congressmen. Matt Gaetz on the warpath, going scorched earth. And I say, tip of the hat, great job to Matt Gaetz. Is that how you say his name, Gaetz or Gaetz? Gaetz? Matt Gaetz. I'll go Gaetz. Okay. All right, over to stuff.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. I had someone call me a Trumper. I should move to the States because I said I'm pro-peace. Strange world. Wow, progressive lefty. Yeah, that is strange. It seems pro-peace is very conservative. All right, let's see here. You know, Trump is doing the right thing when everyone is shitting on him. The way Zelensky acted, crazy. Grant Hanlon. Thank you, Grant. Much appreciated. What is this one? Russia is doing very well, but they have inflation problems and must stabilize things before government spending decreases and soldiers return to a stagnating market. Read on 46 through 49 U.S. recession after World War II. Okay, Gaurav knows. Thank you for that info. All right, let's see what that one is. Okay. Over here. Ladies and gentlemen, are you going to come and check out one of our shows? Look, it's already up. Baltimore, March 14th and 15th. Yes, you can actually get some tickets. There are a few left on both evenings, but you should go ahead and book your tickets now and go to jimmydore.com for our tickets. So you can find the ticket link right there. Use our ticket link because if you go outside, they screw you. They absolutely will overcharge you. And our tickets are modest compared to what our other friends are charging right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, check out March 14th and 15th in Baltimore, Magoobies. And you can also check us out in Hartford, Connecticut, Funny Bone, April 1st, April 2nd, Syracuse, New York, April 3rd, Atlantic City, April 4th, Levittown, April 5th, Cohoes at Cohoes Music Hall, and Comedy Connection in, I can't see with that last one. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's do this. Let's keep going. Oh, can you have Mickey Willis back on the show to talk spirituality? Great, Theodore. That is a great recommendation. I get that it's not the focus of the show, but last time Jimmy got into it and it was kind of a beautiful conversation. Theodore, you are so right. We do have to have Mickey back on to have that spiritual conversation with Jimmy. You are so right about that. And great reminder. Much appreciated. All right, let's go over here. Refresh. All right. Okay, here we go. So thanks again to Santa Monica Film Festival. Wish we could be there. We're out of town again. Bummer. Always get a, is it TITER titer test, which is a cheap blood test before getting any vaccine. Many people inherited immunities from ancestors. I'm immune to all childhood diseases. Titer tests pets too. My pit bull is immune to distemper. Polly, that's very interesting. Thank you. I have a feeling that they replaced Matt Gaetz with Pam Bondi because he would have exposed too many deep state Zionist secrets. Even though he backs Israel, he's willing to call them out. Josh Woods. Oh, Malcolm says it's Gaetz. Is it Gaetz or is it Gaetz? Huh? I just call him Gaetz.
I don't want to get embarrassed about how I'm pronouncing his name.
I remember under Russian occupation in Hungary and with family stories about how we lost in 1956 and how it was still better to have a chance to live and wait out for another chance for independence until EU took over. Gab the chef. Oh, wow. Thank you for that information. All right, let's go back over here. Did you hear about the gold card for $5 million? Wonder if it reversed giving up your citizenship for $5 million. How many Americans would take the deal? That's interesting. Hey, what happened when they, didn't they go to Fort Knox or something last week? What happened with that? Did they find the gold? Was the gold there? Wasn't that a big deal? I thought it was. Misha's talking to me, and I appreciate that. Oh, my gosh. We had some strange stuff happen in studio before the show went on. So, one in the office tower with all the power, it started to beep like every 30 seconds. What? And we called our tech guy, Varush. He gave us a heads up. And then OBS wasn't working for us today. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of shit was happening. And then we could hear the AC. It was crazy. During the meeting, Zelensky looked like Kurt Metzger trying not to talk about conspiracy theories. Stosher, or do you say Stosher? All these words. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, Callie, CPH, I got that. You have a trilateral.org, and it's Sir Keir Starmer, member of British Parliament. Okay. All right, that looks like an old one, trilateral. Okay, thank you for that. All right, moving on. What do I have here? You correct? All right, got those. All right, let's see what else. Jimmy, I'm all ready when you are. Almost. Here we go. All
Tell them
right.
about our upcoming dates.
I'm going to tell them some more. Ladies and gentlemen, go to jimmydore.com. Find our events, drop it down, and you can find direct links to our shows. I mean, we're going to Baltimore. Magoobies, get your tickets. And we'll have a special guest there, and that'll be Max Blumenthal. If you haven't seen Max do comedy, you're going to get such a blast out of it. He's really, for somebody who doesn't do it professionally, we're always just so happy to see him killing it. So it'll be fun for sure. I'll be at the Atlantic show, Italian Stallion. We will see you there. Can't wait to see you two again. Hope you have all been well. Will anyone else be at that show? Not to my knowledge, right? Oh, no. I think Atlantic City will have our pal Chris Keene. He'll be on the road with us. Chris Keene. He's one of our editors and super funny. Let's see here. So the Naughty Knave, I got your deets from the Naughty Knave. You're so funny. Amigos, Descent, the vaccine for tyranny. Okay, thank you for that one. Let's see. What is this coming in? Oh, all right. Yes, that Chris Keene. You are correct, everybody. That Chris Keene. Irreverence is the champion of liberty, and it's only sure defense. Let me say that again. Irreverence is the champion of liberty. Irreverence is the champion of liberty, and it's only sure defense. Mark Twain. I'm going to say it one more time. Irreverence is the champion of liberty, and it's only sure defense. Mark Twain. Thank you. And that's from our pal Mark. You know what? I got a couple cards from people over the holidays and stuff. Mark, our good friends Mark, thank you so much, Mark, for the happy holiday, and really appreciate it. And then this was such a sweet card from Martz and Ohana. Martz and Ohana, what a sweet gesture, sending us some cards. Really appreciate it. Okay. Here we go. What's this one? Hold on. Oh, Polly, I did not even give that to you. Polly, you were so sweet to give us that information on the titer test. All right, let's see this one. Matt, 17-year-old woman, Gaetz. Matt, 17-year-old woman, Gaetz. I don't know what that means, Tihan's here. That's confusing to me, but I read it anyways, even though I didn't understand it. All right, let's go here. Okay. Kerp Starmer, thank you for that one. More cowbell. Here you go. More cowbell. There you go. Thank you very much. What do you think of Trump and Elon's plan for oh my gosh, I don't even know this acronym. FHRITP. If you don't know what FHRITP is, look it up on the Wikipedia page. Okay, well, hold on. Let's see if I copy that.
Oh.
I'm going to enjoy this one. How did you get there so fast? Yeah, your little leprechaun fingers. Thank you so much. Okay, why won't it tell me? Okay. Stands for fuck her right in the pussy. Come on now. That's crazy talk that you got there. That's not
It's
a real
family
program.
show.
Yeah, I know.
Family show.
I know.
So we're on during the dinner hour.
Yeah. I mean, somebody just had to dismiss their child from the room because I said it. I hope you're happy. I think you are. I think you are happy.
By the way, would you explain what a jag-off is? I don't think I need to, sir.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Back to Jimmy.
So it turns out that Zelensky was being pressured to start a war, to provoke a war with Russia, do everything they could, break all the peace agreements. And here's what, and I'm going to show you a video in a second. Aaron Mate says in October 2019, House Democrats were preparing to impeach Trump and declaring that his pause on a U.S. weapons package to Ukraine was a grave threat to national security. Remember when they wanted to impeach Trump for the best thing he ever did? Pause the shipment of weapons to Ukraine? Well, I mean, that was the best thing he ever did before throwing Zelensky the hell out of the White House. I mean, come on. That was pretty good, wasn't it? Amid the frenzy, Stephen F. Cohen, who recently passed, he was the foremost authority on Russia in the United States. He issued a warning. Rather than pushing to arm Ukraine, Cohen said Washington should be defending Zelensky against the Ukrainian extremists who were trying to sabotage his peace mandate. His life is being threatened by a quasi-fascist movement, Cohen told me. He can't go forward with full peace negotiations unless America has his back. Cohen's warning was ignored because America didn't want peace either. Across the political spectrum, it was ignored. The political and media establishment sided with the fascists. Trump didn't sell out to Zelensky today. The Uniparty already did that years ago. So here's what Stephen F. Cohen said. Now, this, keep in mind, this is back in 2019. And he refers to it already as this war. Because even though the war didn't officially start until 2022, it was already ongoing. It had already started. The war, everyone in the U.S. thinks started in February of 2022, had already been ongoing for 5 years when this was recorded. Here we go.
You have a situation now, which seems not to be widely understood, that the new president of Ukraine, Zelensky, ran as a peace candidate. This is a bit of a stretch, and maybe it doesn't mean a whole lot to your generation, but he ran a kind of George McGovern campaign. The difference was McGovern got wiped out, and Zelensky won by, I think, 72%. He won an enormous mandate to make peace. So that means he has to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. And there are various formats, right? There's the so-called Minsk format, which involves the German and the French. There's bilateral directly with Putin. But his willingness, and this is what's important and not well reported here, his willingness to deal directly with Putin, which his predecessor, Poroshenko, was not, or couldn't, or whatever reason, actually required considerable boldness on Zelensky because there are opponents of this in Ukraine and they are armed.
Yes. So for Zelensky to actually negotiate with Putin and get peace to the ongoing war, it required a lot of boldness from Zelensky, the kind of boldness that could only be provided by cocaine. But here we go.
Some people say they're fascist, but they're certainly ultra-nationalist. And they have said that they'll remove and kill Zelensky if he continues along this line.
That's right.
Negotiating with Putin. So now along comes Trump, right?
So the forces inside Ukraine, the extreme Nazis, the Azov battalions, those type, had threatened Zelensky and said, if you make peace with Putin, we're gonna hang you from a light pole in town square. And so, you know, I have sympathy for Zelensky in this situation because he did run as a peace candidate. 71% of the vote, overwhelmingly Ukrainians wanted peace, but his life was being threatened, and I'm sure it still is.
So Trump makes a wrong-headed phone call to Zelensky about Biden and information. It was a wrong thing to do. And there were two ways of looking at that. But the more important thing is, and that's why I'd like to see the full transcript of the, we've only been given a partial so far as I know. I want to know if Trump encouraged Zelensky to continue the negotiation with Putin. And here's why. Zelensky cannot go forward, as I've explained. I mean, his life is being threatened literally by quasi-fascist movements in Ukraine. He can't go forward with full peace negotiations with Russia, with Putin, unless America has his back. Maybe that won't be enough, but unless the White House encourages this diplomacy, Zelensky has no chance of negotiating an end to the war. So the stakes are enormously high.
So that's just so you know why Zelensky, who ran as a peace candidate, has been pushing for war ever since, because the United States, NATO, Boris Johnson, and the fascists and the Nazis inside of his own country have been threatening to kill him if he does negotiate peace. So that's what's really happening here. And, you know, he looks like a guy negotiating out of the fear of his own life. I think that's why he acted like such a jackass at the White House the other day. And just to remind everybody, what I'm talking about when I talk about Nazis. Every news organization in the world reported that Ukraine had a Nazi problem. Kaz tweeted out, isn't it funny how Western articles before 2022, which is when Russia invaded, were documenting Ukrainian neo-Nazism? And then all of a sudden, Western media is like, hey, there's no Nazis in Ukraine. And meanwhile, soldiers wearing totem cups and black sun runes start appearing in media. So I'm going to guess these are Nazi insignia, right? Black sun runes and totem cups. Hope I'm saying that correctly. And he says, isn't it funny? I don't know. Funny. Is it funny, ha-ha, or funny, tragic? I guess both. And here, I just want to show you here. So here's there's from the Times of Israel. It says, Ukraine celebrates Nazi collaborator, bans book critical of pogroms leader. The Atlantic Council, Ukraine's got a real problem with far-right violence. And no, RT didn't write this headline. Hundreds march in Ukraine, an annual tribute to Nazi collaborator. Violent anti-Semitism is gripping Ukraine, and the government is standing idly by. Far-right fighters. So you see all this? So that's what they were. Even a CIA cutout like Bellingcat, because that's what Bellingcat is, says, yes, it's still okay to call Ukrainian C-14 neo-Nazis. Even a CIA cutout like Bellingcat, which does the bidding of the war machine and the neocons, even they were saying that. So I just want to all my Hollywood friends and all my friends on social media who are so proud of standing up for the blue and yellow, you're past the point of just being embarrassing, and you are dangerous idiots now, okay? It's no longer about explaining any of this to you because you either can't process this blatant information or you don't want to. But yes, the colors are very pretty. Here's more. Ukrainian designates national holiday to commemorate Nazi collaborator. Kiev's far-right groups refuse to disarm. FBI, neo-Nazis militia trained by U.S. military in Ukraine, now training U.S. white supremacists. So this is all real, just so you know. And these are, and there's, Jewish people actually wrapping themselves in the Ukrainian Azov flag, which, have you ever been out to eat with a Jewish friend and they order bacon? It's like that, but kind of a million times worse than that. There's more. Ukraine conflict, white power, Ukraine conflict, child soldiers joined to fight. Who was the Stefan Bandera, right? Mm-hmm. German TV shows Nazi symbols of helmets on Ukraine soldiers. There they are. Far-right extremists in Ukrainian military bragged about Canadian training, report says. That's from CTV. A new Eurasian far-right rising, that's from Freedom House. So, and it's all about them being Nazis, just in case you weren't. So, I just have a public service announcement for, this is your shitlib friend, and they are not able to process inconvenient information. Won't you help? All we are asking for is several $1 billion, the price of a carton of eggs. There's more. So I could do this all day. Ukraine underplays role of far right in conflict. Ukrainian neo-Nazi C-14 vigilantes drive out Roma families, burn their camp. So it's a Politico has. I mean, every new Western news organization was reporting this up until Putin and Russia invaded Ukraine. Then everything flipped. This is from July 7, 2015, the New York Times. The Azov group is openly neo-Nazi, using the wolf's hook symbol associated with the SS. That's from the New York Times. Okay, and from those humble beginnings, they turned into something gargantuan, just like Amazon. But the only thing they deliver back in a box is their soldiers. This is from USA Today. This is from 2015. Voluntary Ukrainian unit includes Nazis. Isn't that something? Hey, I think you're making a big deal out of nothing. I mean, come on, Zelensky, he's Jewish. So obviously Ukraine can't be lousy with Nazis. If their president is Jewish, that's like thinking Will Smith is gay. Obviously he's not gay, he's married. Representative Rokana in 2018, who turned into a big Ukraine war hawk, he says this is a dangerous development. So the dangerous development is Trump administration plans to sell 210 anti-tank missiles to Ukraine in a major escalation of direct lethal aid. He was against it. He says this is dangerous development. This will only escalate tensions in a conflict that has already killed over 10,000 Ukrainians. Our government should be actively promoting a negotiated solution, not introducing more lethal weaponry. Well, he flipped on that, Representative Rokana, and he went along with the war machine and the neocons because he's a politician and a puke. And just like most politicians, just like Bernie Sanders, just like the squad, just like Joe Biden. This is, when is this from? Oh, it doesn't say. We also must ensure that these weapons do not reach white supremacist elements within the Ukrainian army, such as the Azov Battalion. The House has repeatedly voted to block weapon deliveries to this group. So that was what they were saying. He's saying back in 2018. There's 2018 commentary, Ukraine's neo-Nazi problem. It doesn't stop, folks. This is from 2018. When we can't agree to fight against neo-Nazis, we've reached a new low. That's from The Hill. Here's another one from 2019. Neo-Nazis and the far right are on the march in Ukraine. Are there really neo-Nazis fighting for Ukraine? Well, yes, but it's a long story. That's from 2022. That's from Salon, 2022. I mean, anyway, it keeps going. It just keeps going. One of my favorite headlines of all time. Azov Battalion drops neo-Nazi symbol exploited by Russian propagandists. If you can't see that, that's what it says. The Azov Battalion drops their neo-Nazi symbols exploited. Do you see how they're saying that? Yeah, that's the only real problem with Ukrainian Nazi pride, that it can be exploited by Russian propaganda. That's the only problem. They have neo-Nazi pride. There it is. I got to tell you, they're really good at spin. Here is the only problem with sporting Nazi symbols on your military uniform is the fact that Russians can exploit this in their propaganda and call you a Nazi. Yeah, that's the only problem. Hey, I just said that. This is from December 2022. The ADL issues statement declaring Ukrainians Azov Battalion no longer far right.
Oh, that was fast.
Oh, well, if the ADL says it's fine, then that's all we need. Boy, the ADL is nicer to these Nazis than they are to the squad. Isn't that kind of amazing? Nazi symbols on Ukraine. This is from June 2023. Nazi symbols on Ukraine's front lines highlight thorny issues of history. That's how the New York Times is reporting it now. Isn't that something? Isn't that nice? So, Business Insider, John McCain went to Ukraine and stood on stage with a man accused of being an anti-Semitic neo-Nazi. No kidding. That's a real shocker. Ricky Roma says, here's 2014 photo of Murphy and McCain with Ola Tienambek, I don't know, the leader of the neo-Nazis Svoboda Party, whose political views included things like calling for Ukrainians to fight against a Muscovite Jewish mafia and halt the criminal activities of organized Jewry. That's who these guys are hanging out with. But I caught shit for interviewing a Boogaloo Boy. Let's all remember that. Let's all remember that, shall we? Max Blumenthal. Oh, here. So there's an Azov Battalion guy with the Nazi symbol on his elbow. When Jon Stewart presented this Azov Battalion veteran with a Heart of the Team Award, he covered up his neo-Nazi black sun tattoo with the compression sleeve. So there he is. He's wearing the sleeve. There's Jon Stewart hanging a medal on that guy. I never pass up an opportunity to point that out. I always like to point out that Jon Stewart, Jew, hung a medal on a legit Nazi. Why? Because he told the truth about COVID origin, and he tried to make up for it. So he had to hang a medal on a Nazi. He will never tell his audience the truth about the Ukraine war, ever. He had to give a tongue bath to two blood-soaked war criminals, Condoleezza Rice and Hillary Clinton. He had to go on to not tell the truth about COVID, the rest of COVID, or the vaccines, or anything. In 2019, Wyatt Reed says Zelensky began his presidency by going to eastern Ukraine and pleading with the Azov to implement a ceasefire. They refused, humiliating him on camera. Fitting that he ends his presidency by once again being humiliated on camera and forced into one. Forced into a ceasefire. That's what he means by that. Wow. Nerd Tech says correct. Oh, so he retweets it and says correct. Zelensky tried to order the neo-Nazi troops on the front lines to obey the ceasefire, withdraw away from the front line of contact. They refused and laughed at him. Then they and other politicians threatened Zelensky's life, after which he got the message, and it's war escalation. The Ukrainians' neo-Nazi group Azov threatened Zelensky. Don't ever think about signing a truce because it will be very bad for you. Chief of Staff of the Azov Regiment. No peace without victory. There is only one victory, not a single Russian soldier on Ukrainian territory. We will not leave this war to our descendants. And if you won't either, because if you try, it will be bad for you and for them. If this is a test, don't even think about it. This is essentially an announcement of an impending internal conflict in Ukraine. Zelensky and the president's office expressed readiness to lower their demands in negotiations while the radical part of the military threatened them. So that's the kind of stuff that Zelensky was under. Nerdtech says these nationalist battalions were trained, armed, and funded by the U.S. NED and USAID and the CIA since 2014, precisely to wage a proxy war versus Russia. So the fact that the United States administration now blames Zelensky for the mess is simply a lie, throwing another victim puppet under its bus. Yeah, so that's what it's like. So as Henry Kissinger said, it's dangerous to be an enemy of the United States, but to be the United States' friend is deadly. And that's what's happening here. So, I mean, we can throw a lot of ire at Zelensky, but he's been threatened every which way by the United States, by NATO, and by the fascists, far-right nationalists, Nazis in his own country. So he did try to do peace at first. He did try to get the Nazis, the Azov battalion, to cease fire, and they laughed at him, and they said, we'll kill you. And that was that. And so now you know what's really happening. So what's really happening isn't that Zelensky is really a crazy warmonger. What's really happening is he's being forced to be one. And he's a pawn and a puppet. He's a pawn and the puppet of NATO, pawn and the puppet of the neocons in the United States, and a pawn and the puppet of the Nazis in his own country. And now he's being humiliated by Donald Trump. So just wanted to let you know the real facts about Zelensky and who's actually pulling his strings. So I hope he has a bunker all set up when the specialists show up to teach him how to do suicide against his own will. You know, Steve Bannon was on this show, and he warned that they're not going to allow Zelensky to get out of this. He's not going to be allowed to go to France and start a vineyard. I would just tell Zelensky that it was, it's a good idea to study history about the people you're in business with. I guess he never heard of Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. They were all in business with the United States and the CIA. And where are they now? Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, over to Steph.